I am super excited today to interview Laura Patterson. I met with Laura Patterson in one of the interviews. It was my first TV interview, and I was really freaked. And who could have believed that a few years later I would be working with someone like Laura, someone who has more than 25 years of experience in marketing, someone who has so much knowledge, and who would have thought so that I will be even working with someone like Laura. So I am really super excited to have Laura here in our podcast. Stay tuned.
I'm so looking forward to hear your story. Laura, you've been in business for 26 years. This is something, business is usually, starting and shutting a few years later. And I really would like to hear your story. First of all, how did you start it? What encouraged you? And what vision did you have when you started?
Well, I happen to agree with you, Vera, and thank you for having me. I do believe that the universe puts people in one another's paths when they're supposed to be there. And so I am always grateful when I meet people. And look, here we are a year and a half later. And I too am amazed that it's been 26 years. I feel like I blinked and time just flew by. So I was really fortunate. I had a pretty long, over 2 decade corporate career. I learned a lot and I had amazing mentors. I had been in large, very well established companies. I had been in small, established companies, and I had been in startups. So in my career, I'd kind of seen different life cycles and learned a tremendous amount. And so when I had the opportunity to take the helm and found a company, VisionEdge Marketing, a growth strategy firm, I was lucky to have a lot of experience that I could lean on. And I think that made a difference. In Austin, in 1999, when I founded VisionEdge Marketing, we had a lot of startup and early stage company activity. We were seeing a huge surge as a result of various investments that had been made in Austin at the time. And everyone was looking for people who could do marketing. And having been here in Austin already a substantial period of time and having, thankfully, a good reputation, I was getting a lot of invitations to join these firms. And I saw that as an opportunity to create a firm that could serve multiple companies and multiple customers. And that's how we began, with people who had been looking for someone to take the helm of their marketing, particularly strategic and product marketing, which is my background, as well as something that had what we would call the science side of marketing. And that's really more my background. I didn't come out of an agency. I don't have that experience. We're not an agency. My background is not in creative. My background is really in data science and operations. And so they were looking for people with that kind of expertise. And so we formed VisionEdge Marketing. Several of us, I am the primary owner and business owner, but came together with a team of people who really have exceptional talent. And that has been, I think, one of the saving graces for our company, is that our people are very talented. They have a lot of expertise and they're well regarded. And plus, we are resilient. I mean, we've gone through a couple of downturns, so you know what that's like because you've experienced it too. And I think you
Yes.
just have to, I'm grateful and thankful for all the wonderful customers that we have who have stood by us, and that has meant a great deal to us.
Yes, and was there something or someone who pushed you to start that business? Is there, usually we'll start for a reason. Like I started when I had young kids. I didn't want to work for jobs anymore, want to have my time. Little did I know that working for yourself is actually 24/7 work. It's worse than 5 to 8 hours a day work.
Yeah, yeah, that is an important thing for people to remember, that if you're going to start a company, it is not something you do between 9 and 5. It's, Monday through Friday. It is all the time. Fortunately, I am married to an entrepreneur, and so my husband Mark was supportive of the idea. And in 2001, with the dot-com bust and 9/11, as you can imagine, that was one of our first big hits in terms of a downturn. And he was very supportive. He said, "Look, it's a tough time for everyone. going and getting a job is going to be just as hard as trying to maintain and keep your company. Stay the course and see what happens. And I did stay the course, and we did continue to grow. We had to look outside Austin to grow, and I learned a lot about having to go outside your own backyard to find customers. And I know you have that same experience, Vera, where you can't count on your own backyard to keep your business going. And so we became a global company as a result of that push. And so again, everything happens kind of for a reason. And I just heard someone talk about a story, just this week, tell a story about endings, and that all endings are good endings. And if it hasn't had a good ending, it's not over yet.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
So I thought that was a great way to frame the world. So I guess that's where we are. We're
Yeah, and you're very well known for helping businesses to be more customer focused, right?
yeah.
And what does it really mean in simple words? Because I know like you have so many like a jargon and so many complicated terms, but if some simple, someone who just starting watching us now, what would it mean? Because I see mistakes from business owners that they either, even when I work for a big company, I noticed that they were not focusing on customers. They were focusing more on themselves. And some businesses are not focusing on their numbers, the biggest fail, but they do. They don't focus on that for some reason. And I know you're very good with your numbers. You're very good with it, can you just elaborate a little bit more about that?
I'd love to. Thank you for asking. So I work predominantly with B2B companies. And our customers are generally in manufacturing, technology, life science, bioscience, logistics. And what they all have in common is oftentimes they have complex products that take a consultative sell, and a lot of different people in the customer base are part of the buying journey. So that separates you from, for example, selling a chocolate bar on the aisle as you head out of the grocery store. And the people who are buying those products are making pretty big bets. Has significant implications to the future of their company and their customers. So keep that in mind. That's, again, if you don't like the chocolate bar that you just bought, oh well, you won't buy it again. It's not like it's going to ruin the future. But when you make decisions for some of our customers, it makes a difference. And so it's very often the case when you have that kind of product, you become kind of enamored with the product. So you can become very product-centric, or you become very sales-oriented because you have to sell that product. It takes a tremendous amount of effort, and so you invest heavily in sales, whether that's direct or channel or affiliates. And oftentimes you're forgetting the real reason you got into business was to solve a problem or help a customer be more successful. And essentially being customer-centric is that every decision that you're making and every way you run your business has the customer in mind. It doesn't mean that you cater to every customer's whim, that you serve every customer exactly the same, or that you give every customer whatever it is they want at whatever price they want. I mean, that's not what it means. It just means that the way you run your business and the decisions that you make for your business are made with the customer as a primary motivation. Because when you create value for customers, you create value for your business, you create shareholder value, and you're more, and I have to say, we try really hard to drink our own champagne. We probably wouldn't be here 26 years later if we hadn't been customer-centric. We would have lost a lot of customers along the way who kept us going in those hard times.
Yes, yeah. And talking about the time, like over the years, the marketing has changed so much. Even when I started in 2009, and now it's like totally different game. There's always new things coming in. And what are the big shifts you had experienced the most, and how? I mean, it's also difficult for businesses to overcome them, right? What will be like your piece of advice or piece of your journey from that?
We're often asked that question, and it is a really interesting question, especially in the AI world we live in today, and the technology world we live in today, and the kind of, just think about the tech stack that organizations have access to today that they didn't have 26 years ago. So VisionEdge Marketing is a growth strategy firm, and our reason we have marketing in our name is because we believe and follow sort of the thinking of Peter Drucker that marketing is one of the primary engines of growth for a company. So if you want to grow and you want to grow organically, you're going to have to learn how to communicate, engage, and motivate customers and the marketplace. I mean, that's why marketing is so vital. And that part of positioning, messaging, doing the data, understanding the customer's pain point, understanding what customers are trying to accomplish, understanding where the market is going, understanding what competitors are doing, what's working and not working with how you are engaging in the marketplace, how your product stacks up or services stack up compared to other offers, why you are better, why you are different, what is the value that you bring to the marketplace. Those basic questions, those kinds of questions, they haven't changed in 26 years, right?
Yeah, that's right.
That part is the same. And in that way, and that's where businesses, all companies need to remember, that part hasn't changed. What do customers value? What do they value from us? Why do they buy from us over someone else? Basic kinds of questions. How do they like to buy? When do they like to buy? That's what we focus on from that perspective. How you bring that and deliver that has evolved, right? A lot of it has evolved because we have better tools today. You know, in my early career, we didn't have email. We had direct, we did things through direct mail. In my early career, we didn't have all these social media platforms that you could advertise on. We had to actually do advertising in magazines. But you still have to get the message right, and you still have to know who you're targeting. You still have to understand what they need, want, and value. You still have to differentiate yourself. Those things have not changed. Only the vehicles by which you bring them to the marketplace have changed. And understanding the consumption patterns of your customer that, hey, they do, 15 years ago, texting a customer would have been kind of rude.
Yes, I agree.
Today, I have customers that say, well, just text me, right? So vehicles change, consumption patterns change, and understanding that. And that goes back to still understanding your customer and how they want to receive messages from you, what kinds of messages they want to receive and when they want to receive them. So that part's the same. The delivery methods have changed. And that, I think, is the difference in the shift. And that has required different skill sets, obviously.
Yeah,
in the
that's
ranks,
right.
So our young people are all getting exposed to AI because you can't have a future workforce that doesn't understand this this new world.
And going through all this journey, what did you struggle the most along the way, and how did you overcome it? Obviously, we all have our ups and downs, and there were many times when I really wanted just to quit. And I'm sure you did too. I just wonder still what kept you going?
Okay, I haven't really had any days that I wanted to quit. I
Oh,
have to be
that's good.
honest
That's
about
good
that.
because I did.
Where I just wanted to hang it up. I have not had those days, and I am grateful for that. I think what has kept me going is I really do like what I do. However, I am not a salesperson. I've been in sales in my career. I've sold chocolate. I've sold office supplies. I've sold semiconductors. So I have been in sales. I've sold services, but that's not a passion for me. Some people really enjoy that part of the process. I don't particularly enjoy that part of the process. But what I do enjoy is the relationships that I build. And some of the people that I have had the privilege of working with over 20 years ago are some of the same people I am working with today. And they are more than just a transaction. Those are relationships that I value. And so I think that has made a huge difference for me personally, is that when I am talking to some of these people, I'm talking to people I care deeply about, not just as business people, but as human beings that are part of my journey. And when I meet new people, I am thinking, this could be one of those 20-year relationships. So I think that changes how I engage with them. And I don't think about selling. I think about how I can serve them and how I can be of value to them. And that is really our approach.
Yeah, I actually can relate to that because I still have customers who's been with me since 2018 when I started. Till today, they're, with us, or till today, they sending customers our way, their friends or whoever needs. And that means a lot to me that even some of them no longer working with us, but they still remember me. And I feel like, uh, it's make me feel so like special that they remember and they come back. And I think, yeah, that's really a cool value, isn't it? Building relationship. Yes. And so what do you think right now? Like, obviously for business owners, it's a real struggle right now. Not only that they have to run the business, they have to do the sales, they have to do, and now there's new AI, automation, and all that. It's really difficult to adopt to them, especially if we're talking about corporate level or like senior level. They don't even want to get involved, but they have to. How do you find, obviously, you working with so many business owners, how do you find that shift happening?
Yes, and this is a sort of a passion of mine, which is one reason why, as you know, I set up my own personal site about random acts. I think that for many business owners and business leaders and even members of the board, we can get distracted by random acts. And those are the things that consume our energy and attention that are not actually moving the needle for our business. And so what I always will ask when I'm working with someone who comes to me with thoughts that they have about something they want to do, I will ask them, how does this fit into your priorities and into your strategy for growth? If it doesn't fit in, why would you do it? I just told this story in a meeting I was at just last week about a business owner. And I'll just give you an example who I was having a meeting with, and who had just come from a chamber, a meeting, with their business chamber. And they were given an opportunity or asked to sponsor this local event, which happens a lot in chambers. I'm sure you have that experience.
Yes, yes.
And he had gone back to the office and had called his people together, and he decided he wanted to do this event. And so he has a very small team. His marketing team is like 2 people. He has a sales team, obviously. And all of a sudden he's giving this event, which is going to be before the end of the year. Well, the end of the year, I don't know when this podcast will come out, but the end of the year is 3 months away. And so this is going to be before the holidays. And so you can imagine how the team was all of a sudden just put into this frenzy of activity. And the marketing people are quite young. They're in early stage, so they probably didn't ask some important questions, but they've already got things they need to do in order to make the numbers before the end of the year, because that's a key part of the business too. And so I said to him, how will this event help you make your numbers before the end of the year? What will this event do in terms of setting up your business for success in 2026? What percentage of your business is coming locally, where you will, and the people who will be attending this event, what percentage of those people are in your target market? I started just asking those kinds of questions, right? And they asked, it's great to be a good corporate citizen. And if you had nothing but money and nothing but time and nothing but people, maybe this makes sense. But in light of these questions, does it still make sense? And he paused for a moment, actually a pretty long pause, and he said, in light of those questions, probably not. I said, well, so why? Maybe it would be good to call back the chamber and say, I appreciate the offer. Let's talk about doing it next year. Then you can put that into your plan. We can actually think about how it could be a part of an overall strategy. Maybe there is a local opportunity, or maybe there is some other reason that this makes sense for your business, and go back to your team and say, sorry for the random act, right? Because the ripple effects were going to be massive. And so he thought about that, and that is actually the decision that he came to in the end, was let's do this next year. Let's continue with what we need to do. And that is just an example of a random act. And they happen all the time. And that is what I think causes a lot, back to your original question, many business leaders and business owners get sucked into that random acts vortex and need someone to be able to ask those kinds of questions if they can't ask themselves those questions. And if you don't have that senior leadership in your organization, and many business owners have who are newer to the game may not have that either because they don't
Yeah.
have a board or a board of advisors, or because our team is young, so they don't have anyone asking those questions. But did I answer your question, Vera?
Yes, you did. And I think for our listeners, if they want to download, I think you have on your website, right? You have this random acts to download. So we would leave link here in the comments. If anybody is interested to see what it's like, they could go to Laura's website and
Yeah.
download and get value from
Yeah,
it.
on the personal website, on the laurapatterson.co website, there is a checklist and a few other things. If you feel like you're someone who gets sucked, for lack of a better word, into the random acts vortex, then it's probably worth having a conversation. And it happens to all of us. It happens to me too, or I have to say, whoa, Nellie, this is interesting, but it might be a random act.
Yes, I think it's also good to have something where our brain and mind always getting out and try to, spread and do so many things. I always try to return it, like go back and read again, go read those steps. So your mind is go back to where you have to be. No, like, we're all spreading all over and then we forget about the foundation. And I think that's what exactly all your docs about. And by the way, congratulations on you on launching your personal branding website.
Thank you.
So thrilled about it. We will also leave links in the comments. Whoever wants to see and get all the freebies you're offering, that would be really cool. What's in your opinion, business owners they need to know for the future? Right now, obviously, marketing being playing vital role in any business. But unfortunately, maybe 80% of business owners know nothing about marketing. And unfortunately, many getting fooled or overwhelmed with too many tools and too much noise around. Do you think there should be some sort of basic education or some basic for every business owner, or what type of skills you think they should learn?
I think business owners who are successful are curious people, and their curiosity is about their customers and what their customers need. They know how to ask good questions. Sometimes it makes sense to create a customer advisory board so you can be curious on a regular basis and have people you can actually talk with that are your customers and will give you candid answers, and be curious about the prospects. Go places, ask a lot of questions. I think they're learners. They're staying abreast of what's happening in their business, what's happening to their customers' business, what's happening in the world. So I think those are two attributes that have nothing to do with technology. Being curious, being a learner. I like to think that I am curious and I am a learner. I probably am overwhelming sometimes. It might even feel like an interrogation because I ask so many questions, but I really want to understand what's happening with a company's business, who they think they're serving, what it is they are bringing to the conversation that's of value, why people want to work with them. I think that we can get overwhelmed by technology, and I always remind people. I have a fun story on our website, on the company website, about a conversation with my father about tools, which I am quite enamored with tools. I love all kinds of tools. The thing that he always would say is, you need the skill to use the tool. If you don't understand what the tool is meant to do and you can't do it manually, probably I won't be able to do it very well. Even if you have a tool, you can make a lot of mistakes and you can cause a lot of damage. I think before you get to invest overly in tools, really understand the basic processes. Look at your data, and I know I was going to say that, Vera. Really look at your data. Pay attention to your data. You have all kinds of data, and a lot of business owners are probably looking at their financials, but there's a lot more data than that. Who are your customers? How often do they buy? What are they buying from you? What is the frequency they're buying? What have they stopped buying from you? All those kinds of questions, and many, many more. And I would be happy to talk to someone if they want to talk about that, but really understand your data and what it means for your business. I think that's
Yeah,
important.
that was actually one of my questions, but you already answered that about data. And what's in your opinion business should measure first? What is the first priority numbers to look at?
Oh, well, again, it depends on where you are in your business. If you're brand new and you're just starting out, it might be the number of conversations that you're having and how many of those conversations are turning into the next stage in the buying journey, and then how many of those are turning into the next stage of the buying journey. So if you're brand new, right, that might be something to look at. If you are been in business for a long while, you might be looking at your customer retention rate and your customer share of wallet. Are they buying more from you? Are they buying less from you? Are they staying? Are they leaving? Are they your customer referral rate? Are you getting referrals, like something that you mentioned, right? If you're later in stage and you have a good customer base, if you're going into a new market, or what is your share of the current market, and how are you stacking up in terms of the competition? If going into a new market, might be some different kinds of things that you might be looking at. Or let's say you work with really, really large businesses and you are doing business with one business unit. You might look at your what we would call footprint expansion rate. How quickly are you expanding to other parts of the company? What is the internal advocacy inside that company for your company? So those kinds of things. It really does depend where you are and where you're trying to go with your business. If you are trying to grow in two or three segments, are you seeing the growth rate that you set? If you are really trying to own a particular market, how well are you doing owning that market? What new products would you need to have, and what is the adoption rate of those new products if you want to own that market? So I know that's a lot and a lot of different things, but I suspect those are very different kinds of measures than many business owners are really looking at, and those are the kinds of measures we encourage them to consider.
Yeah, and surprisingly, that so many businesses and even big organizations, they don't know these numbers. And I remember when I used to work for a small company and then I moved to a bigger company with lots of branches worldwide. I was thinking, wow, big company, they should have everything organized. And I realized that it was a big mess. And nobody did any like proper yearly budgets. No, it was such a mess. And I was really surprised. Until today, I have some of the, big companies under our belt. And it's really interesting to see that they don't know the numbers. And they just been probably lucky enough to generate profits. And they only start looking at their numbers when companies start, going down when it comes to their profits,
They
which
pay
is
attention
really,
to revenue. They're looking at their
yeah,
revenue numbers. And what I always say to business owners is you don't market to buckets of revenue, right?
yeah,
Right. We want this much revenue, or we want this product to make this much revenue, or this service to make this much revenue. That's not how we market. We market to people. So you really need to understand the people side, the customer side of the numbers.
yeah, that's right. That's right. And my favorite part would be talking about the tools and many companies using too many tools. And from your experience, what's the problem? Is there any problem, and what are the benefits they're getting from? Because market is so overwhelmed right now. And I know many businesses try to get here and there and they use everything and then ending up paying lots of money and not even realizing some of them still paying for the tools they don't even use.
Yes,
What's your view on that? And I know you've been in that.
I have been in that boat, and a lot of it happens just with over time. Think about for those of us that are in the U.S. Think about your garage, and you bought this tool, and then you bought this tool for this project, and this tool for this project, and before you know it, you have all kinds of stuff sitting in your toolbox. And we were the same. I mean, we wanted this for our email, and then we ended up having to do social media, and we got this tool, and we just started expanding. And before we knew it, we had all these tools, and then the price of those tools keeps going up for various reasons. And you feel kind of compelled to stick with them because they have a lot of data in them that you want to have access to if you care about the data. But eventually, you could get crushed by the number of tabs you have open on your computer for all the tools that you use. And so we just went through a pretty big consolidation. Actually, with Vera's help, we went through a very big consolidation over the summer of getting our company onto a platform that's where we can consolidate, and we're not using all these tools. And it's amazing. Even, just recently we got a notice from a company about something that was coming up for renewal that we no longer even need, that we didn't even know we were paying for. And so,
What if you had one powerful tool to manage all your business tasks effortlessly? Welcome to Pulse Growth, your all-in-one solution for bringing all your business tasks under one roof. In this video, we introduce our ultimate solution to you. When you log in, you will see your customizable dashboard, which allows you to check the status of your leads, the value of your opportunities and pipelines, conversion rates, and more. Ever find yourself switching between apps just to keep up with your messages? With Pulse Growth, those days are over. Our AI-powered unified inbox pulls in messages from SMS, email, Instagram, Facebook, Google Chat, and our chat widget, all in one thread. Manage everything from one place, ensuring you never miss a message. It's about turning chaos into order and keeping your communications seamless and efficient. Opportunities slipping through the cracks? Not anymore. Pulse Growth sales pipelines give you a clear view of your sales process. Customize stages based on your sales cycle and lead channels. Track every lead, manage opportunities efficiently, and spot bottlenecks instantly. Create unlimited pipelines to suit your needs and ensure no lead is ever forgotten. With automated workflows, you'll always have a bird's eye view, optimizing your sales from start to finish. Meet your new assistant, the AI Sales Bot. This isn't just any chatbot. It learns your business, chats with leads, qualifies them, and even books appointments. It operates 24/7, handling inquiries in your style and tone. Imagine having a tireless assistant who keeps conversations going and never lets a lead slip away. That's the power of our AI Sales Bot feature, working round the clock to enhance customer interactions. Scheduling appointments can be a nightmare, but with Pulse Growth custom calendar feature, it's a breeze. Set up individual, team, and group calendars, sync with Google, Outlook, and Apple, and even integrate with Zoom and Google Meet. Require payments before booking with Stripe integration. It's about making scheduling easy for you and your clients, streamlining your booking process, and maximizing your efficiency. Keeping track of your leads shouldn't be a hassle. Pulse Growth Contact and Lead Management feature lets you organize and prioritize leads effortlessly. Create custom fields, track their journey, and convert them into loyal customers. With all your data in one place, your team can stay informed and make better decisions. It's about knowing where each lead stands, what to do next, and efficiently driving your sales process. Email marketing doesn't have to be complicated. Pulse Growth lets you select contacts, craft messages, and schedule or send them instantly. Create engaging newsletters, campaigns, and automated follow-ups. Save templates for quick replies and manage everything from your mobile app. Ensure high deliverability, reduce spam, and keep your audience engaged. With our email automation feature, streamline your email marketing and keep your clients informed effortlessly. Get more data with Pulse Growth Form and Survey Builder. Create online forms in seconds using our drag and drop builder. Collect contact info, files, signatures, payments, and more. Customize designs with colors, fonts, and buttons to match your branding. Seamlessly connect form data with our workflows for follow-ups, filtering, and onboarding. Embed forms into your website or share directly. Makes data collection easy and effective. Tired of doing the same tasks over and over? Let's automate them with our workflow automation feature. You can set up workflows that handle emails, texts, follow-ups, and more. Picture this. Someone fills out a form and they instantly get a welcome email, a follow-up text, and an appointment reminder, all without you lifting a finger. It's about working smarter, not harder, freeing up your time for what matters most. Building funnels, landing pages, and websites shouldn't be a hassle. Our drag and drop builder lets you create beautiful, mobile-friendly, fast-loading sites in seconds. Choose from hundreds of high-converting templates and connect your domain effortlessly. Add elements like calendars, checkouts, and forms to automate your workflow. Perform split tests, see analytics, and optimize every step. With Pulse Growth, everything you need to build and grow your online presence is at your fingertips. Struggling to keep up with social media? Pulse Growth makes it easy. Schedule posts across Facebook, Instagram, and Google My Business, ensuring your brand stays active every day. Use our content AI to create copy and images that reflect your brand voice perfectly. Manage everything from our social inbox, publish with ease, and monitor your engagement. Save time and stay organized with our powerful social media tools. Ever feel like you're not getting the recognition you deserve online? With Pulse Growth Reputation Manager feature, you can easily collect hundreds of reviews from happy customers. Our review AI automatically sends requests and reminders to Google and Facebook reviews. Monitor all reviews from one dashboard and manage your online reputation confidently. Ready to simplify bringing all your business tasks under one roof? Stop wasting time and start using Pulse Growth for automate your business. Start a free trial with pulsegrowth.io.
That's one more way to streamline the costs, streamline the process. And it's not easy, making shifts, learning something new. It's like, I used to be a pretty competitive amateur triathlete. And, if you get compelled to change your bike, but you want to be really careful. If you don't know, if you're not proficient, no matter what your equipment is, you're still going to be challenged, right? So you want to get very proficient, and that's what I tell people. Get the right tools for you. I mean, for me, I'm not a very big person. I needed to have a particular bike so that would fit me, so that I could actually compete and be proficient. That's important. Get the right tool for what you need, but then get proficient at it. And I think that's where a lot of people get frustrated. That proficiency takes time.
Yes, also some businesses are quite scared to move from everything they already have and everything they already built to something new. It's quite the shift.
Yes.
So I find it's very challenging, and only, some still doing because it's a huge, cost saving, but some decided, oh no, you know what, it's such a headache to move. We better stay where we are.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
people like the familiar, even if it's not working really well. People like the familiar, and changing is hard. Changing a bike would be a big deal if you were racing and you were very comfortable on a particular bike when you raced. So it is a big deal to make a shift, but sometimes if you want to get better, you have to make a change.
yeah, that's really good advice. And how do you see AI changing the marketing in the next few years?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of merit in AI in terms of efficiency, right? And what you can do and how you can do it. But it's only as good as the training model. So, and one must be very careful about whether, if you're not training it, then you're using just open source. It's great, but just remember that what you're getting in is whatever's in the model. And it may or may not be what you need. And it's important to know how to ask the questions in the right way. Leveraging AI to give you information about your customers, probably not. Leveraging AI to write an instrument if you don't know how to create a survey instrument, you don't have the skill set, might be helpful to give you some ideas, but I probably wouldn't count on it to ask the questions, because you need to know your business better than that and be able to ask
Yes.
the right questions. So I think it comes down to the application. You want to use it to do some basic research. I think it can be very helpful. Be careful what it cites and check it out, because sometimes it will make things up. And so you want to be careful, or give you wrong citations. I always tell people who use it, check every citation, because it's very possible that it's not even a legit citation. So, be cautious about your dependency on it. Yes,
Yes.
leverage it for sure. We do too. Like, for example, I write all of our own content. I prefer to do my own writing. I don't use AI for that, but I will put it into an AI tool that we use. We use Cintra.ai, and I will ask the helper to create the FAQ that is AI optimized. Why not, right? Or to write an abstract that's going to be in a post for an article. It can do that very quickly. I'm giving it the information of what I wanted to use, and it's creating a summary. So from that perspective, I think can be a lot of value. Why not, right? Why should I do the FAQ? It can easily do that, and I've already written
Yeah.
the content. So I'm just
Yeah.
using that as an example.
Yes, I think the most important, don't forget about still that, we are still human. We still want to build relationship. We don't want to build relationship with AI. We want to meet with real people, with real business owners. and we want to build businesses with real customers, right? And AI can just help us to save our time, but let's not, let's not make it working against us, I would say. All right. And so for someone who just starting business journey, what advice you would give?
Have clarity, real clarity around the value that you're bringing to your customers and how you are different and better than the competition. If you can't answer those questions, you're probably not ready to go into business.
Okay, super cool. And would you recommend any books? I know you're author of several books yourself, and maybe you can recommend some of your books. We'll leave the links as well. But maybe you also have some books in mind which you love personally and you would recommend to other business owners to read.
Yes, I have several books I would recommend. If you haven't read a Peter Drucker, book on management, I encourage that. Phil Kotler, who I consider the father of modern marketing, Kotler on
I
marketing is.
grew up on Philip Kotler when I was
I would
studying.
recommend that book. I would recommend Gary Keller's book on the one thing. There are a lot of good. He's really that book came out in 1999, and if you haven't read the E Myth, which is not about the electronics, right? It's about being an entrepreneur. That's a good book to read as well. So the E Myth is a good book. The One Thing, and then I like Kotler on marketing, although there are several books, but that is one I like. And Peter Drucker's book on management, I think, should be in everyone's library.
Okay, super cool. Thank you, Laura, for your time. I really appreciate it. We'll place all the links to all your resources. Whoever is interested to see, whoever wants to follow you on LinkedIn, all the links would be shared below. And I am so thankful for you to have this podcast with me, for working with us, and wish you success with your new website and personal branding. And if you need any help, we are here.
I do know, and you have always been helpful. And thank you, Vera, for answering millions of questions. And I wish all of your members of your community tremendous success. And thank you for having me as your guest.
Okay, thank you. I'm just gonna